right. And as always, we want to start off with the 17 Club purpose statement. Our purpose is building disciplined men of purpose who take responsibility, act with intention, and serve others. This is where we study the science of personal achievement to support, encourage, and hold each other accountable on their journey toward their personal or professional definite chief aim. So let's remember, we're studying the science of personal achievement. There are 17 principles. Today we'll be covering number 6, but it's not a lecture. It's a conversation, right? And so as Luis is guiding us through this principle, short chapter this week, right? It was just like 2.5 pages. So short chapter, but a really, really powerful principle. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Luis. Luis, do you need me to give you any mojo or anything? You're
No,
good?
today.
Okay.
Not to, I might need it later, but not right now. Can you guys
Okay.
hear me okay?
Perfect.
So I got my microphone and hooked it up. So yeah, welcome guys, and thanks for the opportunity again to talk about a very, very important principle. All principles are very important. They're critical for our success. But this one is the one that makes things happen. This gets the ball rolling. This one is gonna make you reach start, right? So today you were right, Frank. This chapter is literally in the book. It's one, two, it's 4 pages, not even full 4 pages. It's like almost three, a bit over three. But I am gonna recommend you guys to get this other book by the foundation, Achieving Your Goals. It is a wonderful book. So I have things that I'm going to share with you from here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got it, Phil. And what I like about this book is it talks about 4 principles and it dives really deep into all of them, which is it is called Achieving Your Goals, the four proven proven principles. And it starts the book with the personal initiative. Actually, that's the first one. And then he goes to the Mastermind Alliance, going the extra mile, and learning from adversity. So Mr. Green, Don Green compiled these 4 principles into a book, and it's one of those that is going to help you understand the principles in the science of personal achievement better because goes into deep. And obviously, he tells stories. He's a great storyteller. So into any of this. So with no further ado, I want to talk to you about that. So one of the things, and I have these books right here for reference, so I don't want to stray. I want to stay on point. So one of the things that I like about this book is that it's very precise. It goes straight to the point, and I love it. So remember that Mr. Hill learned this principle from Andrew Carnegie, right? Carnegie, a lot of people say, but I learned right, Phil, we learned that is the right way to pronounce it is Carnegie. We learned that when we visit the Carnegie Mansion. Now it's a museum. So, and he says that there are 2 types of people. Those who never amount to anything. There are 2 types of people who never amount to anything. Number one is those who never do what they are told, and those who never do more than told to do. So successful people are usually, let me mute someone. I don't know if you can see, Frank. Um, those people are the ones they never do what they're told, right? They don't want to learn. I remember Bob Proctor being one of them with that attitude that he had when he first started, right? And those that they do the bare minimum. If you're only doing the bare minimum, you're not gonna reach success. It's like I know people that they have been working 20, 30, 40 years in the same cubicle earning the same thing, the same amount of money every single year because they never achieved to go higher, to climb the ladder. And that one of the problems with that, or one of the reasons more than problems, they don't want to face the consequences of making decisions. They don't want to face consequences of bringing a new standard. Because once you and I make decisions and we reach a different level, we raise our own standards. Money, fame, importance, it doesn't matter. You're just bringing up higher levels with you. And then, of course, you're going to have to be held accountable to those new standards. So, but let's get more into personal initiative because I love this. I love these stories, this principle. He says, on the other hand, the person who gets ahead does what should be done without being told, and then goes the extra mile to do much more than expected or demanded to be done. I love to have people in my staff and be surrounded with people that take initiative. They don't wait for me to tell them something. Of course, you got to train them, right? We all need to train our subconscious mind. We need to train our mind, our subconscious mind. And the best thing, though, and I'm going to talk about that later, but once you start taking initiative in one thing, you start taking initiative in other areas of your life as well. So, but there are 7 points that Don Green puts right here, and I love this, and I'm going to go over all of them real quick. Well, not real quick, but I'm not going to take too long. So, number one, he says, you can write your own success story when you define your definite major purpose. If you and I don't have a major purpose, we're not going to take initiative. Period. Period. That's what we think, right? Bob calls it uh, B-type goals and A-type goals. You know what you know. You are good at what you do. So the next thing that you want to achieve is something that you already know how to do. There's no growth, and you stay on the same spot. Then the B-type goals. You think that you can achieve something that you think you can be good at, and you make plans, and you say, oh, well, when the kids go to school, when I have the money, when the circumstances are perfect, I'm going to take initiative. I'm going to make it happen. But you know what? You never took initiative. You never did it. Some people even wrote a book or part of it or a lot of it, but they never published it. They never carried on. They finished a course. They started a business. They went to register the name of the business, but they never took the main important action, which is actually doing the business. So where are you in your life? I know I've done that plenty of times in the past, right? Started something and I got all excited about it and then I didn't carry on with it because it's not what my true spirit was asking for. Or sometimes we just get into the hype and I want to say something out there. Some of you guys might be compelled to tell a story about it later. But what about Bitcoin? Everybody started getting into the Bitcoin, into the cryptocurrencies, and it was a big boom. Now I don't even listen to it. I'm not even into it, but people carry it, right? So number one, these are the 7 factors. Number one, know that the starting point of all achievement is the adoption of a definite purpose, accompanied by a definite plan. Making a plan, this is where most people don't get it right. People think that having a plan is from A to Z, from step one to step 55. And that's why they don't take action because they don't have the plan all in front of them. But I'm going to ask you, when was the last time that you did something of importance in your life that actually was following step one, two, three, and it was no deviations? Never. It never goes like that. Maybe buildings, maybe skyscrapers, even those have different things, right? Maybe you didn't have the materials, maybe you didn't have, but I love this analogy. When you're driving at night and you know where you're going, Do you have to have a light that shows the whole streets in front of you from point A to point B? Or you just need your beam lights in front of you for the next 100 yards? That's all you need, 50 yards. So my suggestion is what he's saying right here is if we don't have a plan, we need to just know step A, step B, and start working on those. And then before you know it, step C, D, and E are going to come to you in a but super fast. It's like that movie with DiCaprio, right? Do you remember that when Tom Hanks is following him all over the place? He's a full feeder. Do you remember that movie? I can't remember the name of it. When he is
Catch
he's
me if you can.
yes, catch me if you
Catch me if you
can.
can.
Yes, sir. And then all of a sudden, goes all down, left and right, and all of a sudden, DiCaprio gets into his character gets into a university, right, into a college, and he walks in with a briefcase, and everybody when he's late for class, and all of the class is like, "Oh, that's a teacher," and then he starts teaching the class. You remember that? And he does that for weeks, for a whole semester. And when they ask him, "Well, how do you do that?" All I needed to do is to read the chapter, go one step ahead of them. That's all I need to do. Go be one step ahead. But that's personal initiative. I mean, there's so many hidden gems in that movie that I'm gonna watch it again pretty soon. So that was number one. Number two, all individual achievements are the result of a motive. Motive. If you and I don't have a motive, we're not gonna make it. We're not gonna make it. We're not gonna take action. He says these are the following motives, and we're gonna take action when we really have one or a combination of more than one. And since we're guys, this is gonna sound it's gonna be music to your ears for some of you guys. Love, sex, material wealth, self-preservation, freedom of body and mind, personal expression and recognition, perpetuation of life after death, and the two negative ones, revenge and fear. So those are the motives. We take action, we start taking action, we take initiative once there's one of these or more than one together. How many times you've known, maybe you did it in the past, how many times you did something after your ex dumped you? You started taking care of yourself, your thoughts, your body. You started, I don't know, even your personal hygiene, right? Or after a loss. I know I got super depressed, very depressed after my dad passed. And I was very critical of people when I saw people in depression until it happened to me. And then I realized that is a true thing, though. I still believe that most people are not really depressed, though, but I have compassion and I try to find out and help them with my coaching business. I get a lot of people, I'm depressed. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're just miserable, but you're not depressed. Yes, Frank.
Yeah, Luis, when I hear the word motive,
Yes, sir.
I have to remind myself when we set a definite chief aim or a definite major purpose,
Mm-hmm.
when you choose to do something, we're always going to come up against some type of obstacle,
Oh, yes, sir.
right? Because you don't achieve anything without an obstacle of some type.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it really helpful to ask myself the question, why do I want this?
Mm-hmm.
So when you sit there and you're trying to decide, I mean, how many people struggle with figuring out what your definite chief aim is? What's your definite purpose? What do you want out of your life? Well, I don't know. Some people can't even decide what they want for lunch, right? So we need to be more intentional about our efforts. So adopt a definite purpose. And to give you the energy to overcome the obstacles, you have to answer the question, why do I want this? It doesn't necessarily fit into those boxes that Luis just gave us, but those are motives. So what's your motive? Why do you want to do this? And if you
Mhm.
can answer that question every time you trip, you stumble, you come up against an obstacle, all you got to do
Yeah.
is remind yourself why you started this journey in the first
Yeah.
place.
That's your North Star, right?
Exactly, exactly. Your North Star. What are you aiming
Yes.
for?
Yes.
Phil's got his hand up. Go ahead, Phil.
Yes, Mr. Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Luis and Frank. Great points, and kind of going a little deeper down a path with this too. I think
Mhm.
when you're talking about the personal initiative, we know our definite major purpose, and then it's about confidence. What is the self-confidence that we have that we can do it? If we're going to have a plan, of course, that's Napoleon Hill's big thing: purpose, plan, and bigger than those two is action, PPA, right? And the idea that whether it's business or your personal life or in sports, for example, having a plan. We just had an example where, life goes on, but, we saw a football game recently where there was a team that didn't have as much confidence as another team. And we were used to it, our team having the confidence, right? And as much as the highly skilled players, they didn't have the confidence to do that extra mile to take the personal initiative to to adjust their plan. They didn't adjust their plan that they needed to do, and that's what the difference was. Is that there was not a plan adjustment that was going to compensate for what they were lacking on one side. How do they find another? Hockey, any sports like that, where you really have a split second to like adjust.
Mhm.
Look at the Olympics going on now. You have the skiers that one skier like fell down and too bad for her. She was a great skier too, Lindsey Vaughn. And the other one, there's another one who I think she broke her wrist. Right? It's like you have these half a second, like not even half a second, it's less than that.
Right.
It's happening so quick, and you have to have a plan. You have to attack that course, and it has to happen. You got to have the confidence. You have to know why you're there. You're at the top of the mountain. You're going to get down really fast,
Mhm.
and that's the only thing you're thinking of. You're not, everything else is like, take that initiative. I have to, here's the path. And if I'll ask, I won't ask permission. I'll just ask for forgiveness rather than take the permission. So,
Right.
Take action.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Michael, thank you, Phil. That was very interesting. Very good. What's up with the sun?
I
Sun?
know, man. I know it's very bright. it's just we're basking in the West Coast Super Bowl win over here, so the sunshine is just radiating over here on the West Coast.
Who let this guy in the room?
Yeah, no kidding.
I
You.
thought he had a sunny attitude. Come on.
But I wanted to speak for a second on the whole concept here that we're talking about, because the other thing is that one of the tactics, of course, that the Seahawks exploited was the fact that Patriots had two rookies on their offensive line.
Mhm.
And they attacked them and they attacked them and they attacked them relentlessly. And one of the things I want to get at is there's two elements to this conversation I think that relate, which is that one, man, the rookies still showed up.
Mhm.
It's rare, right, Lewis, that you win on the first time you show up.
Yes. Sweet.
Look at the average age of the people that are in this room. It's north of 40, probably.
Yeah.
Right? There's a reason some of us have started to hit the ball out of the park more often. And it's not because we weren't good at swinging earlier in our lives, but there's a wisdom and there's experience that comes from actually showing up.
Mhm.
And those linemen are going to learn from this experience. They're going to get really, really, really good over the next few years. But the fact is, when you first show up, sometimes there is lessons to be earned. There's scars to be won. And the nature of how you keep showing up and commit to that definite purpose, right? There's a great saying by Friedrich Nietzsche. He says, "Many are stubborn in pursuit of their actions, few in pursuit of their goals."
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, I
That's
love
the
that.
programming. Yeah.
I love that,
Right?
Michael. It's I'm being reminded as you're sharing that with us. John Maxwell, another one of my mentors, and I'm actually certified with his company as well. He's always said, "Show me your agenda, and I'll know whether or not you're going to be successful."
Hmm.
So and it says, right at the beginning of of this chapter, it talks about obviously adopt a definite major purpose, outline a plan of achievement. What's your plan? What do you need to do?
Hmm.
Enact that plan every day, no matter what. And I thought about that this morning on my walk. I'm sure we've all set some goals this year. I know I have. I also know that some of the goals that I've set, I'm not acting on every single day. Why not? Because it's not in my calendar.
Hmm.
It's not on my agenda. So if
It,
something is really, really important to you and you've set it as a goal, something you want to achieve, make sure it's on your agenda. Now, that may sound really old school, but what's your calendar look like?
yeah.
Are you just drifting through the day, hoping that you remember to do something for every goal that you said you wanted to achieve? Put it in your calendar. I'm right over there in my corner in my office, my guitar. And I promised myself in January 1st, I was going to learn how to play guitar this year. Gentlemen, I haven't touched that thing in 3 days. It's not in my agenda.
Hmm.
If it's important, it needs to be in your calendar.
Yep.
And Michael, one thing that you said that I think a lot of people, you think about personal initiative, this is something that you need to do consistently. It's a habit. It's not a characteristic, it's a habit. So doing things without being told, taking action every single day. It's a habit that we need to form. And that ties right into persistence.
Hmm.
And the quote that Michael just shared with us about stubborn action, that's persistence. No
Hmm.
matter what happens, I'm just going to keep showing up. I'm just going to
Hmm.
keep doing it. And I'm going to make sure that if it's important to me, it's on my calendar. So I don't want to take up the whole thing, but I'm just looking at the
No.
beginning of that chapter on my computer. I was like, my gosh, there's four things right there. And the last two, enact the plan every day, no matter what, and
Hmm.
then persist when you encounter temporary defeat. That's where we lose it.
Hmm.
That's where we set ourselves up not to achieve our goals,
Right.
right?
Phil, thanks,
Phil, go
Frank.
ahead, buddy.
Yeah, that's really so powerful too. It's like keeping persistent. Persistence is to the human spirit what carbon is to steel, that we have to keep going. And when you look at the great athletes, they stay after practice. They're there for, everybody else could be showered and gone home, but when you look at those excellent, they get that razor's edge difference. Hockey players are shooting a puck from different positions. Basketball players, they're shooting from different positions. Whatever it is that can, if you play baseball, you're throwing or you're hitting or whatever it is, you stay that extra hour or 2 hours, till you get blisters sometimes. And then you don't get the calluses after you practice the guitar because you've got, your hands get used to it. And when we do that, that's where the magic starts to happen. It becomes like that's why we study every day. We study because we're taking the information in, and what I love is this mind map where we're taking it into a conscious mind, the educated mind. We're taking that material there, we're planting seeds into the bottom, and then when we do that repetitively, that's how it becomes part of who we are being. And when, I think he even Napoleon Hill hints at the cosmic habit force in this chapter too. Our what we are becoming, our net vibration, our net emotional energy, the net how we show up to the world. And when we do that, that's where we're just attracting these opportunities. You an opportunity to talk to someone leads to an invitation to a deeper conversation and an introduction to that next person who we wouldn't have had that connection if we weren't being who we're being. So little things give that razor's edge.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Well, the thing is, nobody was born knowing how to throw. how to write, how to sell, how to build. So, right, we have to, that's one one of the reasons why school is mandatory, right? Kids got to go to school so they can learn. We only learn how to speak, write, read, and all that beautiful things that school teaches to a certain point. But that is so true. And he says that personal initiative to be effective as a quality of leadership has to have these three things that you were mentioning, guys. A definite organized plan, inspired by a definite motive, follow it through the end. Persistence. You all said it. I just want to put it all together. That's the one thing. We can't, we're not going to make it. But again, we're not going to make it if we don't take action. What is also repetition, right? That's persistence. Earl Nightingale says that's another definition of faith. When you take action over and over and over and you are not getting the results, you have faith. The results will come eventually. All we need to do at one point is to change, we need to step back and say, okay, is my strategy the right one? If it's not working, then I'm going to try to do something different. But this is when something beautiful happens. Or if you choose to do that, that's when you find a mentor. That's when you find the person that already has the results that you want. It's that simple, right? What is a mentor? What is a coach? The coach is not going to do the job for you. It's not going to do the work for you. It's like doing that is like a father not letting his kids fuck up. What happens once you screw up? You learn. So we need to let our kids screw up. And we sometimes we're like, oh, don't say that. And they're gonna do it. But that's how they're gonna learn. We have to let them screw up. Now, I'm gonna put this into your business. How many of you guys maybe still have that issue? Maybe you went through that issue. I certainly did. When you start hiring and what's the word that I'm looking for? When you're training your team, right? And you have to let them make decisions. They have to screw up. I mean, you're gonna try to control it, right? But once you have your team and you've been delegating, they take responsibilities. We have to let them make decisions, and we have to let them screw up. That was a big pain point for me, though. It was huge. I would not let go. I wanted to do things on my own, and be present all the time. I was just killing their self-confidence. You said that earlier, feel self-confidence. So landing this concept of what I just said, if we don't take personal initiative, we're never gonna make it. I know I've said that, but we're not gonna make it. We're gonna be wondering, we're gonna be thinking, what if? And that's the worst question for myself. What if? What if? So no more what ifs. We learn, we fall, we get up, we dust ourselves, and we move on. How many people do you know? This is what got me once when I was competing big time on my 20s. There was this guy that he sucked. You would see his forms, his sparring. Every time we would fight, I will beat him. 5, 6 times a year, we will fight at tournaments. But he had a really good school. He had a lot of students. I didn't have that many. As a matter of fact, I didn't have more than 20, probably 25. And he had over 100. But this guy was telling the whole world how good he was. He was telling he was doing demos at schools. He was letting everybody know what he was doing. Even if he was not getting first places or some first places, he was telling everybody he was a champion. He was telling everybody he could help people with his martial arts student program, and he was getting students all the time. I wasn't because I was in this between the ego and I didn't know how to do it. But I was just envy. I was concerned. I was worried about putting all my energy into criticizing him, looking at the other, at how the grass was on the other side of the fence instead of taking care of my own crap. And I was so upset with him, with life, until I realized that it's not his fault. He's doing his thing. What are you doing, Luis? What are you doing? Show the world, put videos out there, show the world that you're so good. And then once I started getting into that path, things started getting better for me. So, but I had to take initiative. How many people do you know? That's where I was going. How many people you know that they're not as skilled or as good as you are, but they are taking action and they're getting results just because of the simple fact that you, us, we are not taking action.
Yeah,
And that's that's it.
Luis, I wonder when all of us in the room, when we see an opportunity and we're giving thought to perhaps going in that direction,
Mhm.
what causes us to wait for permission? It's almost like, Phil said it a little bit earlier. I'm going to take action and I'll ask for forgiveness instead of permission. What causes people to stop short of taking action? I'm remembering. Go ahead, Victor. I just saw your lips move. What'd you say?
Yeah, I would say courage.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's fear,
Mhm.
Oh,
right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Courage is the other side of fear.
Yep.
yep.
So you see something that you want to do and you hesitate, you wait, maybe not for permission, but you wait because you're
Mhm.
fearful that if you take that step, you're not going to succeed. Whatever it is, it could be a
Yeah.
very small thing, right? Or
Mhm.
somebody's going to criticize you. Who do you
Mhm.
think you are taking that step, right? So I would ask everybody in the room to kind of reflect on,
Mhm.
where do you hesitate? And what fears most commonly show up that cause you not to take action, that cause you not to take that personal initiative? And
Mhm.
is that waiting causing you to drift?
Mhm.
And drift in life simply means you're no longer pursuing your definite major purpose. So what's causing you to drift? Luis, you said North Star. Your North Star is there. It's always there. It's the North Star.
It's
It's
always been
consistent.
there.
It's constant, right? So
Uh-huh.
that's why we use that as a representation of your definite major purpose. There it is. Don't look left. Don't look right. It's there. And so don't let anything cause you to drift. And fear causes us to drift. We have to have courage. We have to have faith. Victor, I love the fact that you use the word courage. Yeah, we can have anything we want.
Yes.
We simply
And
have
then,
to we have to take the courage to make a decision and to
yes,
pursue that dream.
and take action. And
Yeah.
1 second, Phil. I want to piggyback on what you just said, Frank, because this is doing that or not doing that. That's what's going to set the next few years of our lives, if not many. Because once we start getting comfortable, number one, and we start failing to our word, we stop believing in ourselves. We doubt ourselves, and then we just don't do anything. We have ideas, ideas come to us, projects that we want to do, and that's why I don't pick up the weights. I don't play the guitar. I don't learn the new language that I said I was going to learn. I don't do this because I know be- 4, 5, 6, 17 times in the past, whatever I said I was going to do, I didn't do it. And that's huge.
That becomes a habit.
Yes,
That
exactly.
becomes a habit.
Hmm.
We can't let that negative side of it become our habit.
Yes. But it's true though.
Try,
We
try
start
one more
failing to
time.
our work. Hmm.
Try one more time. I've had this guitar for over 25 years.
Hmm.
I can't play it. What stops me from doing that? Had I stayed committed 25 years ago, I'd be a freaking rock and roll star,
Probably.
right? Right? But I just didn't, it wasn't important enough. What's the why? Because
Hmm.
that's the engine that drives you.
Hmm.
What's the why? Why did you get engaged with this? There's no, there's no huge thing that's going to happen to me if I fail to learn how to play the guitar. What's the consequence? Right? So the challenge is it important enough for me to
Hmm.
commit to it every single day? It affects nobody else, just me.
Hmm.
So, what's one area in your lives, guys, that you
Yeah.
are being reactive instead of proactive,
Hmm.
right? I shared with Luis and Phil yesterday in our Monday. We have our own mastermind on Mondays, and I shared with them that I'm the red F kid. And if anybody knows what the red F is, let me share with you. Uh, I'm the guy that if you told me I had a book report due in 90 days, I'd wait till the night before to take action. I had 90 days to do this, but I waited until the night before because that red F was flashing in my forehead. If I didn't do something tonight, I'm getting a big red F tomorrow. Now, I don't recommend that to anybody because let me tell you what it does. It causes anxiety, and that anxiety causes you to freeze or panic, or worse yet, you've waited so long, you weren't able to prepare to do the best that you could have done. Now, that's something that's been internal to me my entire life. To this day, I struggle to not wait for the last minute. So I just want to share that with you guys. After today's call, reflect on what's one area that you are the red F kid.
That's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Luis.
Phil. Yes, no, thank you. Right. Yes, Phil.
Yeah, I love how this conversation keeps on going deeper. And at the same time, it's really bringing in all the principles because all the principles are happening simultaneously. And how many of them, excuse me, how many of them are we aligning with? And I'd love to see more people getting involved in this conversation too. You know, we all can contribute in a way, so I'd like to see more activity in here too. It brings me to the point where I was going to talk about, yeah, it's those fears that I know for me, uh, criticism of others. Josh, who do you think you are? It's like, you're overstepping your bounds. You're like you're going to someplace you don't have to go. Why are you doing that? Why do I always go to education and trainings? We don't have to do that. You went to school. That's good enough, right? And you become a hamster in the wheel. It's the same thing every day. And I think you were hinting at it, Luis, when you talk about the delegation, empowering people so that they can make a decision. Decision's one of the powerful principles too. Making a decision, and you've got all the tools. Every idea that is out there that comes to you, it's only coming to you. Without going too deep into that, we're all into that frequency. But those ideas that come to you, they all work. The question is, you don't believe it, so we throw it away and we waste it. But that purpose that we're born here for, that's the North Star. It's always there for us. It's shining, and we we ignore it, and we have to stop ignoring things and moving forward. Bob Proctor would talk about the idea that or was it Earl Nightingale actually, wasn't it, that talked about the opposite of courage is conformity.
Yep. Yes,
And
Al Nigel.
so,
Yep.
when we just want to fit in because we don't want to be criticized, I'm not going to speak up to people when I see something that doesn't align with who I am being, what are my values. If I don't do anything, then there's nobody there to do something for me. When they can help me and we can help each other. And so I just want to inspire us all to continue to take those steps, as small as it might be. It,
Hmm.
it could be handing a peanut butter sandwich to
Hmm.
like a person on the bench. It could be anything. It's
Hmm.
not related directly but whatever things that we can do, take the personal initiatives to see that I can feel bad about serving and people can feel better about life. The impression of increase was a concept Bob Proctor talked about. Leave people better. This is what leaders do. We're leaders here, and leaders do that kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Phil. That's very, very important. And yes, we can go deep into that. Very easy. Michael, Sonny Michael.
Yeah, Sonny Michael, I gotta drop the blinds. Um, you know what Frank's story, Lewis, and what you were saying at the beginning about the seven motivations, it reminded me of the fact that we act this way. These are our stories for a reason. We gain something out of it, right? People who have addictions get something out of it. We are addicted to our stories. We're addicted to how we define ourselves. And in a lot of cases, I think we can all raise our hands and say sometimes that's a really shitty thing to be addicted to,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
But the fact is there's something valuable there, and quite often it's power. It's energizing, right? When you're talking about the idea that you wait till the last minute, right? That fulfills, at least Tony Robbins says that if you can fulfill two of these seven motivations, you have an addiction to it
Hmm.
because it's
Six,
empowering,
the
right?
six needs. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Six human needs. Yep. Hmm.
That's right. And so the fact is that in that case, there's a self-preservation addiction there and there's a fear addiction there. Those are two things. They combine together, they create an elixir that energizes Frank to get his shit together.
Yep. Certainty as well. Hmm.
Right. And so it's like we all have these things. We have these elements to us that create the energy and the drive that we're looking for because the world can be a complacent place, right? We're taught so often, we're marketed to so often to just sit down, shut up, and buy what I'm offering you, right? And so it's a chair that we get really comfortable in. And the fact is we are looking for these patterns of our behavior that energize us to make us feel powerful and energized. And anger and frustration and revenge and fear, they're a part of the yin yang elements of energy that are crucial, but they have to be married up with the positive part. And quite often, it's just the story that we're telling ourselves. So, how do you rewrite that story becomes the real key question. I think that Lewis is talking about here, right? Is how do you rewrite those stories to ensure that you're always taking personal initiative, that you're never leaving it to chance?
Yeah. Love that. Love
Yeah.
that.
It becomes your personality, your personal reality, like Joe Dispenza would say.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, Victor, impressive, Michael. What you said is so deep. We can even probably be talking about for hours for
Yeah,
this. Yes,
Michael.
absolutely. But it's a good point to reflect. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes,
Maybe,
Victor.
yeah, just to add something on what about your question. I don't know, it would be like maybe to be more conscious about what we're doing. So more consciousness so that we could be sure that we don't say that we know exactly what's going on, but be more conscious about what's
Mhm.
happening so that we could act on the way that what we're thinking according to energy, what we're seeing, what we're receiving, and want to give it out. So I was maybe at that point. So
No,
and
you're
also,
right. Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I
yeah.
interrupted. Go ahead.
So that was just to complete a little bit what Michael was bringing
Mhm.
up. So just
Mhm.
to add something. But you want to add
Yes,
something before I go on, Louis, please?
you're right. And we've been conditioned, right? Phil was showing us the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, that stick figure, which is amazing when you have these little antennas. We are conditioned since we're little to live from the outside world through the five senses. But the real change and the real growth comes from the inside out. That's six mental faculties, right? Perception, imagination. Help me, guys. the will, uh, all those six mental faculties. It's from the inside. Exactly what you said, Victor. What you put out, what you give out to the world, that's what you're gonna get more. So, um, I love that. I love that. It becomes a program. Absolutely. Thank you,
and
Victor.
and
Go ahead.
and it will be related about what is really the purpose for today. We are talking about going the extra mile,
Mhm.
and this point was so powerful because I will just try to make it short and also
Mhm.
ask a question.
Time. We got time. No problem.
So going extra mile for me, as Omar, more than 4 decades now on the earth and brief about that, it was for me normal without, having a real conscious about what's the meaning of
Mm-hmm.
going extra mile. And
Mm-hmm.
the feedback was so amazing. And when I start now, getting closer to be 30 and so on, and now starting getting more engaged about who I am exactly, and then realize that somehow they also the part of be going extra mile and also be a people pleaser. That part was for me a new area where I didn't understand. Okay, going an extra mile before was when I was not conscious about what's meaning, but just acting on.
Mm-hmm.
And the time now where I understand, okay, you giving, and some people just taking as it's normal, he's just giving.
Mm-hmm.
And now you realize it's kind of you're getting, let's say, used or abused. And
Mm-hmm.
now you say, okay, is it like s- those who now don't have a feedback about going an extra mile will be like on the long term people pleasing, or they acting maybe because they don't know, or they just acting because they say, okay, if I go in an extra mile without feedback, I will just be accepted. Or so the paradox for me, because we are here sharing our thought and also try to understand and learn more, it's like, what is a relationship between those two parts? Because for me, I always see the extra mile for me as a conscious. You just go in and give it because it's
Mm-hmm.
for you part of it. You're more conscious.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
now the unconscious part will be for me like people pleasing. So you don't understand why you're going extra mile because you expect something to come. And now you start to be on. I mean, it's like you just do it.
Right. Yes.
And that is really something that I want you to understand it. Also, your part,
Right.
So,
I
yeah,
I I disagree on one thing with you. One thing.
yeah,
I don't think you're conscious when you're going the extra mile and you do it because you do it. I don't think you're conscious. It is part of you already. And when you start being conscious about it, that's when you're expecting, oh, okay, well, I've been going the extra mile for this person or this guy or this situation. Now, what I'm going to get in return? That's when the mind, the conscious mind, screws everything up because the brain, their brain, not the mind, their brain is always going to look for what's wrong. Exactly, Michael. It becomes a transaction. So once you have that as part of your nature, could be one of your gifts from God. It could be something that you learned as a kid, right? Families are very givers, and they donate time, and they involved with church or different activities, and they're giving. That becomes part of you, going that extra mile. Especially you have a father like mine, with the minimum, but the bare minimum was not acceptable. You always had to do things the right way with a smile on your face. If not, you will be boom, belts on your butt.
exactly.
That was my dad. Nick is having flashbacks right now, probably too. So yes, Victor, absolutely. But what you're saying is when you're present, when you're present, if we learn to be present, life is gonna start changing really, really fast. We're gonna start seeing, noticing things that they were there before, we were didn't pay attention to them because we were eating, scrolling on the phone, and talking to somebody at the same time. You know, yes, just one little tiny example. So thank you, Victor, because what you said is bringing me clarity as well. I don't know for everybody else, but to me, it brought me clarity on the concept. And now, if I put it together, though, I was thinking on that when you were speaking, Victor, taking initiative and go the extra mile, put those links together. It's a formula for success. So thank you, Victor, for bringing that up. Phil Conway.
Yeah, thank you, Vic. That was really great because some people have that unconscious competence where they don't know what they don't know. However, they just happen to be doing something. At the same time, we can be aware of ourselves as an awareness. So if we have a journal where we can write our thoughts and what is our emotion at a particular stage of the day, um, looking behind, is it your definite major purpose that's the motive and the fuel, or is it to get like Bob Proctor would teach? Are we, if we're only doing something to give a benefit, then we're trading our time. We're trading that. We're going to get something from somebody. So, oh, if I give them three things, they're going to give me this like big whatever contract, or if I bring lots of gifts, this woman's going to love me because I keep on bringing her gifts, and I just, I devalue devalue is not the right word. I lower my self-esteem. I lower my confidence because I'm allowing an external person, a circumstance or a condition to be more powerful than what's inside of me. And inside of us, we are multiple times more powerful than every single obstacle that will show in front of us, every condition, every circumstance. It's like they're nothing. Problems only exist because of our level of awareness. So if we're here, here's where we need to grow. In this way, don't put away the problems, don't escape it. It's like, how do we become stronger? How do we become more powerful? Releasing ourselves with these principles, do that. And we can be aware that there could be fear, but you know what? We're going to let that muscle atrophy. We're going to work on faith. We're going to work on who we are, and going those extra mile, and the personal initiative are the action steps, the component that moves us ahead to give. Just give, and then grace to see receive is the other side of the same coin.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the two opposites of the same thing, right? Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Phil. Bradford, or like we call you here, Brad. What's up, Brad? What do you got?
So I was just thinking about, like the chief aim as a whole can be daunting sometimes to look at. From a personal initiative standpoint, it's like those linemen that Michael talked about earlier, they weren't worrying about winning the game. They were worried about the next play. You know what I mean? Are they going to pull? They're going to pass block, the little details. So for me, I found good value in the plan aspect and, you know, having little subsets of the chief aim, to fall back on because sometimes the whole picture as a whole is daunting. It really is. It's challenging. So those daily habits that those subsets of the chief aim, I feel like have been vital to my progression in
Hmm.
some way or another.
Hmm. Yep. Well, it is part of it. It is called what? The success formula, right? So absolutely. But that's the thing though, and we're getting into something else, which is very important and it goes hand on hand, which is programming ourselves to take action. We have to program ourselves to take action. It's that simple. We have to stop being scared of the consequences, or bring the standards up of what they're going to think of me, of what if it's a waste of time, what if I don't do it right, what if I fail. Well, when you're thinking like, what if you fail, you already failed, right? It's just that simple. So start taking action, start taking action, start. And I love that, Bradford, how do you put it with, yeah, when we see the whole thing, what it can become, it could be daunting, but it can be exciting as well. Can be, and that's the thing though. If we turn the negative or the neutral into excitement, into positive, into, but what if it happens? What if I make it happen? Oof, that's when it turns into something. Well, I guess if I get it wrong, daunting, right? If I think I did I get the concept right? Right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Bradford. Yes. And you know what? And some of you guys are great planners. And sometimes all we need to do, sometimes, and I don't know why I didn't say that earlier. We just have to chunk it. That big thing, we just gotta chunk it. And that's one of the problems though. We want to do so many different things, and all we gotta do is focus on step one. That's it. I'm not gonna worry about step two until I'm done with step one. Just like Michael was saying, right? Like you were saying on the offensive. I'm not gonna the money, the fame, the power, everything is gonna come out eventually as a byproduct of doing every single step right. Of putting 100% into every single play. Like you guys, some of you guys love hockey. What about football? You know, every time the amount of energy that I've been learning more about football the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And I like to see what happens in the offensive line when the lines clash and all that, and how they push and how they use their hands and all that. Let me tell you, all of those guys should learn judo. If they learn how to use and push the right way, they will be moving guys so much easier, anyways. But how these guys, the amount of energy that those guys, they snap the ball and it's just too freaking massive. Masses clashing, and they do that every single freaking play of the game. It is insane. So
As
yes.
you say that, I heard a stat. I'm not a football specialist. I like watching it. I played only very small, but somebody had said to me, who's a referee, you watch any game, college, high school, professional,
Hmm.
all it is about 8 to 12 seconds every play.
Hmm.
But it's about 75 plays to 90 plays, I guess,
Uh-huh.
both sides.
Uh-huh.
But for those, where you're focusing your energy, just those 10 seconds. And like you said, if you could come in with the martial arts, you're using their energy in a positive
Hmm.
way of yourself, and you can be
Hmm.
aligning it, and that can give you that power to like, overcome that's a lot of weight that's coming together there.
Absolutely.
2,000 more pounds. Yeah.
Yes. For every play. Frank, we're almost done. We have Frank and then Nick, and we're done today.
Yeah, as I was listening to Victor and all the other conversations, when we look at this book, Science of Personal Achievement, I think we need to look at each chapter individually and together, right? And what I mean by that is uh, they all kind of connect with each other. And what I like about Napoleon Hill as an author, in a lot of his books, he actually suggests that we take inventory of ourselves. So when we look at the 17 keys to success, whatever you want to call it, the science of personal achievement, those 17 principles, as we go through, ask yourself, chapter one, definiteness of purpose. All right, do I have one? What is it? Do I have a plan? Is it in my calendar? Actually take inventory of yourself. Personal initiative. When I see an opportunity, do I take action? Grade yourself maybe on a scale of 1 to 10. For each one of these chapters as we go through it, take inventory because we're all weak somewhere. There's something that we're not paying attention to. And when Luis was talking about gifts, and I saw Michael put up, oh, hold on a minute, my wife loves gifts. I was reminded of a story of a gentleman who was very, very successful in business. And he had a beautiful wife, and he gave her gifts and flowers and always did everything, but he worked a lot. So he wasn't there in the relationship. And so when all of a sudden his ability to cover her with all these gifts because business went south and he was no longer earning the income that had given him that opportunity, she wasn't used to his attention. She was used to his gifts. And that's how she qualified the relationship. So when he was no longer able to do that, the relationship collapsed. Wasn't that he didn't love her, he was just never there to do it.
Mhm.
And he was using the gifts as a replacement for that attention. Does that make sense?
Of
So
course,
so take
100%.
so take inventory as you go through your chapters and
Mhm.
just ask yourself, hey, how do I fall on each one of these principles and how do I implement it into my life? Right?
And the best part, Frank, is we have the whole week to go through that. So you don't have to spend hours doing it. Or you could, but
Yeah,
you know, yes, absolutely.
exactly. I
All
think
right,
Nick I
Nick.
think Nick had his hand up and we're
Yeah,
at
he did
12:01,
a
so we're
few
a little
times,
over the
and we
clock.
didn't
Go
let
ahead.
him. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
Nick.
Nick.
Hey guys, man, such a powerful hour. There's a lot of energy here. You know, like Phil had mentioned, that everything just flows together. All the principles start working together. You know, Napoleon Hill. You know, one a challenge that I have is naming a. So when I create a service, like picking the name for the business for the service is really a challenge to me. Napoleon Hill had a challenge as well when he had to come up with the name of the book, Think and Grow Rich. It says grow rich. It's day after day after day after day after day. And like like I've shared with many of you guys, like I've been reading 10 years now. And the first time I picked this up, I put it down for a while because I didn't understand it. But just day after day after day after day. And when we make the decision backed up with motives, the emotion of sex, the emotion of love, it, I believe Henry Ford practiced used the motive, the emotion of sex for his mastermind group was with himself and his wife, and he built a business for the love of his wife. And so we just, as we show up day in, day out, as we show up, we we begin practicing all of the principles. And that's when we are, I would say that when we're made whole, we're fulfilled. So that's what I wanted to share. I thank you guys for letting me share. But there's just so much gold nuggets in this last hour.
Yes,
I
and
appreciate it.
Go back
no,
and
thank
watch the
you.
replay. Go back and watch
Yep.
the replay.
Hmm.
Right? That's why it's there. For those of you
Absolutely.
that came a little late, make sure this has been a powerful session and go back and watch the replay. Take some notes. All right.
We start at 10 Central, 11 Eastern. So for no confusion, confusion. Yeah, Nick, you said something very important. There will never be fulfillment without purpose. Never. So we need to find out what fulfills us. Sometimes the way to find, or it was for me, I could not find a purpose if I don't know what fills me. What do I like to do? I love to empower people through martial arts. I love to empower people through knowing these principles, like blocking those mental barriers. I mean, I can do it. Like I can stand victim. Like this is a big change for me, though. I could not stand victim mentality. Now that's the people that I help to get out of it, to get out of it. So instead of something that it was bothering me, I found through study, being patient, working on myself. Now I have compassion for that people and I can help them. And I'm turning victims into victors. That's what I'm doing now. So,
Well,
guys, that's the hour. We're 5 minutes of the hour, but
oh
like
my
I said,
God, the
we
world's
could
going to
be here
end. We're
another.
5 minutes over.
I know, right? Frank, here you
You know
go.
what? The thing is, guys, is we could probably sit here for 2 hours and have some great conversations. And that's why we do it every week. This is good stuff. Next week, we are going to be the topic is going to be self-discipline. So if someone would like to take charge of leading that call, go for it. If not, I will take it. Being the Marine that I am, self-discipline is near and dear to my heart. But I want to thank you guys for showing up. And remind you to watch the replay. Some of you, I don't think I have your emails. I see Sean Clark in the room. If you're not getting reminder emails from me, uh, please send me an email. It's frank.menard, menard, at gmail.com. And just so I can include you in the list. The replay, as always, will be up a little bit later on this afternoon. I'll get it up as soon as I can, and it's going to be on my YouTube channel. So just go at Frank Menard on YouTube, and it'll take you right to my channel.
Yeah,
So,
let me say something about that.
go for it.
Everybody go and follow that channel. He needs more likes for one reason. That's our outlet, not because we love Frank, of course, and we want him to be successful. I do, in my as a personal
I want everybody here to be
point of view.
successful.
And second thing, that's how that's where the channel, the outlet that goes out to the world. So more we can help more men.
Right.
And eventually we're gonna be dozens and then hundreds and then
And
thousands.
I also put it out there. I put a link on social media every week. That recording is put out there every week. So if you're one of my Facebook friends and you get that, share it to all your friends. That's why it's there. So now we can exponentially build our group so that we can impact the lives of more people, right? And so thank you all for showing up. I appreciate you. And we'll see you next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. See you later, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for
See ya.
joining us.
Have a good
Thanks.
week,
Have a
guys.
good one, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
everybody.
Enjoy.